Do you guys hear that, like, crackling, the sizzling happening?
I hear the sizzle.
We're in the kitchen, something good's happening. Our next guest worked for the last 4 seasons as a sports performance dietitian for the University of Minnesota. She worked with the football team.
Yeah, and it was her job to make sure the players were eating their best. And today she's sharing some of her tips on simple recipes using pork chops that she can show us today. It's Rachel Stark.
Hi,
Hello, Rachel.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Good. Thanks for being here. You had a really big job with a lot of really big, important players.
And
Yes.
big guys.
And big guys.
Exactly. They do have to eat a lot, and we teach them a lot about how to fuel their body. So pork chops are a great example of how we can use protein to complete and build our muscle.
Yeah.
Huge deal.
How does that work when you're dealing with, 130 athletes at a time
Yeah.
with all different shapes and sizes? And, some guys are burning lots of calories and some guys aren't. How did that work?
Yeah, I think that's why I loved that position, because you get such a body diversity from athletes that are 185 pounds up to over 300. So it's very cool because everyone is so different. And that's why I love nutrition, is because everybody has to feel differently.
Yeah, that's so interesting because it's just, we're not all the same. I think there's this temptation to be like, everybody should eat paleo, everybody should eat vegan, everybody should eat that. And I just refuse to subscribe to that.
Yep.
I mean, I think the human body is so amazing and can really run on all sorts of different things, but you've got to know how to fuel for what you want out of your body.
Exactly, yeah. And that's why I love being a dietitian, because you get to have that individual impact on each athlete.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Okay, lots of proteins out there. Why do you love pork?
Yeah, I love pork because a variety of reasons. Number one, especially here in Minnesota, we have over 3,000 family farms. So a wide variety of pigs are coming from Minnesota. So when you go to the store, more than likely you are going to be choosing pork that is from and Minnesota raised. So I love that aspect. And then pork is also a lean option.
Yeah.
So meaning with that, we have less than 5 grams of fat per serving. And then also you're getting about 25 grams of protein with that one pork chop. So, which is awesome.
That is a significant, that's a real big protein boost. Okay, so you've got these going. What did you do to these, and then how can we help finish it off?
So, very simple recipe. This is called a sweet honey garlic pork chop, okay? Essentially what I have going over here is I just added a little bit of salt and pepper to our pork chops, and then we're searing it for about 5 minutes. I'm actually gonna get these off because they have been cooking.
Oh yeah, they've been searing and popping and simmering for a while now.
And we do want to make sure our pork is cooked to about 145 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Just making sure that we still have enough flavor, but then it's cooked fully.
Yeah, but we don't want to go crazy and get 200. I mean, they get dry because it's lean.
Yes, exactly. So that's why that 145 is perfect for still a juicy flavor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next, we're actually going to make our glaze. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to add our garlic, and we're actually going to let that simmer a little bit, get a little bit of fragrant. And then I'm just gonna mix that up.
Just kind of mix that around.
Yep.
So when you did the pork chops, which you didn't adjust the temperature. Was that just a medium heat?
Yep, a medium high heat.
Okay.
So I added a little bit of olive oil, seared those pork chops, and then remove them. And now we're just gonna essentially complete the glaze.
Doesn't that garlic smell so good?
I know.
So delicious.
It's the best.
And then I'm gonna add some soy sauce.
Great.
Happy with that?
Beautiful, thank you. This is our lemon juice. And then lastly, our honey. And I'm actually just going to turn this down a little bit.
Oh my gosh, smells so good. Do you find
So good.
are athletes more and more, as your career goes on, are they more interested in nutrition? Are they coming in with more knowledge, and they're kind of saying I want to dial this in so I can get my best performance?
Yes. So I will say they're just with college football transitioning so much, our athletes need to be coming in a little bit more well-versed in nutrition.
Yeah.
Making sure that their body composition goals, having enough protein and building that muscle is so important. And that's actually why I've transitioned to working with high school athletes now, just so that way they are more prepared as they go into college.
Do you feel like when you played it, because I feel like when I was in high school, it was just these guys just have to eat everything, just eat a ton, and with no thought of what's actually good to eat.
No, that's the way it was for me for a large part of my career. Was just calories were just calories. They just looked at calories as the same, didn't matter the source, and said okay, you expended 6,000 calories, that you're okay to eat whatever you want up until that. So no formal education at all.
And I think that's the challenging aspect, because when you're working with these athletes, they are burning 6,000, 7,000 calories a day, and they're trying to build muscle too.
Yeah.
So it's so important that they are getting in enough energy and calories in food. So it can be challenging to, be eating whole foods all the time just because they don't offer as many calories. So, when you are an athlete, sometimes it's helpful to have that guidance from a sports dietitian.
For sure.
Just to make sure that you are feeling how you should be when, and they can help show you what that looks like.
Do you notice, are a lot of them under eating protein? Like, do you think in general people think they're eating more protein than they are?
I see that across the board with individuals that aren't athletes, and then also with athletes, is that sometimes they aren't eating enough protein. Even carbohydrates, that's what fuels our brain and our muscles.
Yeah.
I see a lot of athletes under eating there as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, and since we're going down that road, even fats. I mean, all the things that we're learning about fats. I mean, some healthy fats are really good for your brain development, especially adolescent kids. Don't be afraid of the fat, especially the animal fat.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I like to say as a dietitian. Don't be afraid of food. It is there to nourish your body. It is so important. So we need to be feeling our body.
But when you know more about it, I think it can help you make better choices. Even just that mindset of like, okay, I'm really doing something great for myself. I do that with my kids a lot, even just like they understand, okay, protein does this, fat does this. Now, okay, what are we looking for here? Do we want this to get a little thicker?
Yes, so now we're just letting it simmer down a little bit. We've just got the glaze here, and then we're gonna add our pork chops in within this next moment.
Oh, good.
So, and then that's pretty much it.
Yeah, this
And
is
that's
great.
Yeah,
It's
so easy.
It smells so good.
I know.
Yeah.
I love the idea too of like pairing this with some rice or some like some
yeah.
steamed vegetables.
Yep.
And then you're good to go, and it's not difficult.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. Very, very simple recipe. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you got your
very
trusty little
flavorful.
thermometer too.
Yes,
I love that
I do
thing.
need this. I want to make sure that my pork is cooked, but not overcooked.
Rachel, this looks great. Okay, well try this after the break when that settles in. It was so nice to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet
Good
you.
advice.
Yes, and good luck. So we have Rachel's recipe posted on TwinCiesLive.com.
All right.